How's it going, everybody? This is RBT. You guys asked for it. Here I am. I know it's early, but here I am with a BCS National Championship preview / prediction video. The Auburn Tigers, the team of destiny, playing the Florida State Seminoles, who are the lone undefeated team on the season in college football. Kind of like last season, the lone undefeated was Notre Dame, play against the one-loss SEC champion Alabama, and they get beat down pretty bad. But let's get into this game. We know the two different stories that these teams come from. Auburn, the team of destiny, the team that didn't start the season out so strong, lost to LSU early on, struggled to get past Washington State and Arkansas State team, and they've been kind of cruising along, and then out of nowhere, they absolutely turned the tables and have been lighting the scoreboard up, putting up tons and tons of rushing yards against some of the best teams in football. They beat a really good Georgia team. They beat the team, the Alabama Crimson Tide, putting up a ton of rushing yards in that game. Then they go into the SEC championship game against a Missouri team, which was top 5 in the country, and puts up, I think, ended up 500 rushing yards in the game, broke all kinds of bowl records. All kinds of SEC championship games records. It was insane. I watched that game, and I have not seen that big of a matchup, seen a team dominate in one area of the game so much. That was absolutely insane. They were not stopped the whole entire game. Trey Mason might have just earned his way to second place in the Heisman voting. He probably won't win it because of Jameis Winston. That's another story, but he single-handedly, just completely out of nowhere, just got a ticket to New York for the Heisman presentation. No doubt about it. Played an absolute great game. Nick Marshall, once again, I doubted his throwing abilities earlier on in the season, and he just continues to prove me wrong. He doesn't throw a lot. Obviously, but you don't have to throw a lot when you're Auburn and run 70 times a game and run for almost 600 yards a game. In the last 2 games against Alabama, I think it ended up somewhere like, I'd like to say, it ended up with 2 or 3 incompletions. In this game, I think it ended up 9 of 11 in the SEC championship game. And the thing is, Missouri had the second best rush defense in the SEC behind Alabama. We all know what Auburn did to Alabama, the #1 rush defense in the country. In the SEC. You go and play against Missouri, the second best in the conference, and at the end of the day, after the game, they're now 9th in the conference against the run. They go from 2 to 9 throughout one game. It's a team. It's just a team of destiny. It really is. Go from a tip Hail Mary pass to win the game on 4th and 19 to Ricardo Lewis, to a 109-yard field goal return for a touchdown. You have no other explanation for it than it's just unexplainable. It really is. Just the finishes of the games, the way they've been playing, and the scary thing is they're getting better and better each and every week. They have improved from week 1 of the season to now. Like I said, it's a team now. It started with Washington State, had to have a comeback, come from behind victory against Mississippi State. They won that game 24-20. So a team that goes from scoring 24 points against Mississippi State to 59 in the SEC championship game, which against a good defense in Missouri. So it's just hard to judge this Auburn team. You just don't want to pick against them because they've been playing so well and just find any absolute way to win a game. But yeah, now let's flip over to Florida State, a team that has not played, I guess you can say, a tough schedule. Their biggest one of the season is against Clemson, and nobody really knows how good Clemson is either. Because Clemson's, I guess, quote unquote, played a weak schedule as well. But you can't deny that they've taken care of business in every game. I think the closest game of the season was against Boston College. They won that game by two touchdowns. I can't talk. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, guys. You told me you wanted this video out tonight, so I did it. I tried to be prepared, try my best. but their closest loss or closest win is 2 touchdowns. They've dominated every single game they've played in. Jameis Winston's going to win the Heisman. I mean, there's probably no doubt about it. Barring some unforeseen circumstances in the next day, he is a lock to win the Heisman, no doubt about it. So he's played great. He really has. He's broke so many ACC freshman records, some ACC records in general. They have some absolute insane wide receivers on the outside, maybe the best 3 wide receivers as a tandem in college football. A talented defense, one of the best, if not the best defense in the country. Well, at least scoring wise, they're the #1 defense in the country statistically. Some absolute beasts on the defense. I heard during the Duke game that they said there was some NFL scout that evaluated the team and said there's 8 guys on the starting 11 that would be on an NFL roster right now. That's how talented they are. And the 2 running backs they have, James Wilder Jr., we saw him. He was absolutely just dominating that Duke team. He did have the fumble, but he dominated, absolutely dominated. Devontae Freeman also is a very good running back. Just some talent, it really is. But what I was talking about earlier, yes, the closest game was the Boston College 2-touchdown victory. But like I said, I think they passed the eyeball test. They really do. They look like the best team in the country. But then again, you just wonder because of the talent level. I mean, when you look at the schedule, the best team they've really beaten it really might be Duke. Because I honestly don't. I really don't think Clemson is worthy of a BCS bowl, even though they're probably going to go to the Orange Bowl. I really don't think they're worthy of one. Don't think they're a good team whatsoever. But they took care of business. I mean, they go into Death Valley. It's one of the most hyped games of the season up to that point. Playing in Death Valley, an insane environment. They go out and beat them 51-14. That was absolutely insane. And watching Jameis Winston play, it's like every single play you're expecting a big play. I mean, he is so trustworthy in the pocket. He had some mistakes today. In the last couple of weeks, he's made a couple mistakes, but for the whole season, I've not seen a quarterback really that I've trusted. I've watched and just knew something big play was about to happen because he has the ball in his hands in the pocket. Maybe since an Andrew Luck, because if he has the ball in his hands, something's going to happen. He can also run the football, etc., etc. He's the absolute best quarterback right now, and he's going to win the Heisman, a complete lock. But it's keys in the game. I think I pretty much recapped Florida State. They're a good team, but the only question mark is their competition they played. Now, obviously, it's a weak schedule, but they've dominated, and that's what you got to do with a schedule like that. So it's going to be fun. I like the matchup. I'm kind of glad that Ohio State lost because I think this is the better matchup. I think Florida State plays Ohio State. It's a complete blowout. Like I'm talking about at least a 3-touchdown blowout in that one. And I think this will be a great game. One of the best rush defenses in the country versus one of the best offenses in the country. And I think without a doubt the best rushing attack in the country. So a great matchup here. Florida State, best #1, like I said, points against, giving up only 11 points a game, scoring 54 points a game, running for 200 yards a game, and throwing for 300 yards a game. So across the board, they're a completely solid team. Really no weaknesses. They have stout corners. They have, like I said, a great front seven, a solid offensive line, 2 great running backs, and a trio of some of the best wide receivers in the country. So it's going to be tough. It really is. A couple keys in this game, obviously, is Florida State going to be able to stop the Auburn rushing attack? If Alabama can't, I really have a hard time seeing Florida State doing so. Is it going to be enough solely for Auburn to win? I don't know, but it's going to be tough for Florida State to stop the Auburn run. But I don't think anybody in the country can right now. They're only going to improve. They've improved ever since that LSU loss, week in and week out. They've gotten better, and the difference in the Alabama game and the Missouri game was just as big as it was the prior week. There is a huge difference. I mean, they're getting so much better just like that. So if I'm Florida State, I'm worried about the Auburn offense. I really am. Don't think it's going to be a walk in the park whatsoever. Don't think you can come out there and show the world how great you are, because Auburn has an unstoppable rushing attack. I mean, if you think you have them bottled in, Nick Marshall has a guy wide open downfield, throws it on the run, and improvises and makes a touchdown. It's impossible to stop their offense. It really is. So I think Auburn scores a good bit. But on the flip side, you have Florida State, who has proven to have also one of the best offenses in the country, the best quarterback in the country, Jameis Winston, some great wide receivers. So another key is how the Auburn defensive backs are going to be able to hold up with those wide receivers of Florida State. We saw today that Auburn secondary really did struggle with Missouri's wide receivers, who are pretty much one of the, if you put them together, one of the tallest group of wide receivers in the country. So they struggle with them. I expect them to struggle with Florida State's as well. I don't expect this to be anything like the last two national championships. I expect this game to come down to the wire, because these are two very, very good teams. The powerhouse, undefeated Florida State Seminoles have not came close to losing one game this season against a team of destiny that you can't pick against. It's going to be tough. This is a tough pick. But like I said, it's gonna be real tough for Auburn to be able to contain those wide receivers. I expect them to have some big plays. I expect Jameis Winston to have a great game, as I expect Auburn's offense to have another great game as well. I don't see this being like the 2010 national championship, because I think some people will refer back to that game when picking this one, because people will believe, oh, two high-powered offenses, that this should be that they were expecting that to be a high-scoring game. It ended up 23 to 20, to some low-scoring game, and people were like, hey, that's probably going to happen again. I don't believe so. Two great offenses. I mean, obviously, Florida State has the better defense, but is Auburn's offense that much better than Florida State to compensate for that? I'm not sure. This is so tough. Auburn has some playmakers too. Auburn on defense, they have a tough front seven, minus Jake Holland. They can get to the quarterback, and that's something I think that can rattle Jameis Winston, a freshman, early. It's gonna be his birthday too. It's gonna be his 20th birthday on the national championship day. I thought today Duke did play well defensively early. They kind of gave up later on in the game, but they were playing good defensively. The cornerbacks of Duke were for the most part sticking on coverage pretty well with the Florida State wide receivers, but just completely out-physicaled them, because they have the greatest physical tools and just pure talent. So that's where that came into play. It just depends on which Jameis Winston comes out. If Jameis Winston of the Duke game comes out early, then Auburn can jump onto a big lead. It'll be tough to come back. If the Jameis Winston that comes out against like in the Clemson game, when the game was really hyped up, it could be a close, tough, high-scoring game. But one thing I don't want Florida State fans to expect, which I've seen chatter about it from all the Florida State fans and all the message boards, is that they expect this to be a complete blowout. They expect to handle Auburn's offense and hold them to under 20 points, which I think is absolutely impossible and ridiculous for them to think so. If they expect going this game to blow out Auburn and to hold them to under 3 touchdowns, you're going to be really disappointed, because that might not be the case. That might be proven wrong after the first quarter and a half or something like that, because Auburn's offense is scary good. I've seriously not seen an offense execute so well in the running game at this point. I mean, early on in the season it's not the case, but as of the last couple of weeks, I fully expect them to get better. I'm not really seeing that in my lifetime. It's absolutely insane what's happened in Auburn. It's crazy, but how long is this video going on for? Do you guys want me to go ahead and make a pick? 14 minutes. Yeah, it's time for me to make a pick. But like I said, real quick, once again, keys. Obviously, Florida State being able to contain the rushing game of Auburn. Not stop it, because that's impossible, but contain it to a minimum. Contain the big plays. And also to be able to protect Jameis Winston and not allow him to be rattled early on and create some early throws, easy throws to gain his confidence, because I mean it will be tough for a freshman on this stage, even though he's proven time and time again that he can overcome this stage. But I mean it's always a different day, and you want to be certain in a national championship game, and you want to make sure he's not pressured early on, so he doesn't force an early pick, which will screw up his confidence. But it's Jameis Winston; he'll overcome it eventually. So, and for Auburn, try your best to contain the Florida State wide receivers. It's going to be a mismatch. The size, definitely, there was a size difference today. In the SEC championship game, so I expect it to be the same Florida State with those great wide receivers with huge size. They're 6'6", Kelvin Benjamin's I think 6'5", 6'6", about the same size as Dorial Green Beckham, so that'll be a mismatch. Like, same thing as Florida State, you won't be able to stop Auburn's rushing attack, you won't be able to stop Florida State's wide receivers, but contain them for the most part. Try to get pressure on Jameis Winston, and just run the ball like you've been doing, and I expect them to take big strides. And Nick Marshall, I think, will have to be forced to throw the football. That's what Alabama did not force him to do last game, which I think is what's lost in the game in the Iron Bowl. If you take a two-possession lead, kick that last field goal, then you force Nick Marshall to throw the football in obvious passing downs, which I think can win the game. Yes, he has a talented arm, maybe one of the. Seriously, if you go back and watch his highlight tapes, he might have the strongest arm in all of college football. He has an absolute cannon, can throw the ball 80 yards on a run. He had a highlight tape from his junior college highlights. Throw a touchdown pass on the run, 80 yards, no joke. I didn't believe it when one of my friends told me, went back and watched it and was absolutely shocked. Has an absolute cannon. So he has a cannon, and he improvises like crazy. He's accurate, but he improvises. It's not necessarily your traditional drop back passing. If he's forced to have to throw the ball when Florida State knows he's going to throw the football and not have to rely on the run game, that's when I think Auburn can get into trouble. But is that going to happen? That remains to be seen, and I don't think so, because I expect this game to go down to the wire. So here we go. This video ultimately comes down to one thing in my pick. Do I want to go with Florida State, the team that's proven to be the best team in the country and has not laid down once this season, and has played a weak schedule, but still blown out everybody they played? Or do I want to go with Auburn, the team of destiny, the team that is constantly improving and might improve a huge amount by the time the championship game comes around? And the team of destiny played obviously a tougher schedule than Florida State. So where do I want to go? I think I've said this before. I've mentioned if this scenario happens, what I would do, and I think I'm going to stay strong here. I think if I'm basing this terms off of who I think is going to win, who I think is the better team, who I think has more talent, I think, no doubt, it's Florida State. But, I mean, dead honest, how in God's name are you going to pick against Auburn with the season that they've been having, and the finishes that they just can't lose? There's no way. I mean, if you go back and watch that Alabama game, there's so many opportunities they had a chance they would get blown out, lost. They thought the game was over. They just kept fighting. They fight to the very end and find miraculous ways to win. They're truly, I believe, a team of destiny, and I fully believe somehow, some way, at the very end of the game, I do think they struggle on defense. I think the running game won't come as easy as the SEC championship game. I think they might struggle even more than they did in the Iron Bowl, but they will improve from now into the national championship game. A team of destiny. It comes down to the very end, but I seriously think Auburn wins the national championship game by a field goal. I don't expect this to be a SEC championship game type score. I expect this to be more like the Iron Bowl type score. A little bit higher scoring. I do honestly think Alabama's defense is a little better than Florida State's. But I will go, I mean, that's up for debate. I mean, that's my opinion, but I'll go at Auburn 38-35 over Florida State in the BCS National Championship game, in a very, very close, entertaining game. Both teams are great. Both teams have had fabulous seasons. But like I said, who is the better team? I think it's Florida State. But you cannot sit here and tell me why I should pick against Auburn with the season that they've had. I cannot see a way they find a way to lose. They'll find a way to win. They will. It's Auburn. It's unexplainable. It's happening. So I can't explain the unexplainable. In that case, I can't explain what would go wrong. So Auburn by a field goal, 38-35. So that's it, guys. It took me 20 minutes to go over this video and go over this game. But you guys wanted it tonight. Maybe I wasn't best prepared, but you wanted it tonight, so I'm bringing it out there tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was quality. So yeah. So let me know what you think about this. Well, let me know what you think about the game in the comment section below. What do you think the score is going to be? Who do you predict to win? If you're an Auburn fan, what's your worries with Florida State? If you're a Florida State fan, what's your worries with Auburn? Hopefully I won't get any hate from either fan base. I try to make this as neutral as possible. Just really put out there what I thought was going to happen. So hopefully I won't get any hate. I probably will still. But anyways, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please leave a like if you haven't. 20-minute video. Hopefully it deserves a like. And follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/S3RTR. And like I said, please comment below with your prediction on this game. But guys, until next time, roll tide, go Sox, and go Titans to you. You guys have a great month, great holidays leading up to this bowl game, and let's not make it too fast because we don't want college football to end, because we have a whole other 7 months after that to be bored without football. But it's gonna be an entertaining game, and I can't wait. So I'll catch you guys then. I'll definitely I might come out with another video after this. I don't know. It depends about this game. But like I said, I definitely will be coming out with more BCS bowl. I'll be coming out with a video about each and every BCS bowl and some other things about the BCS bowls. And I'll have one video talking about all of my bowl game predictions. And then I will be coming at you like last season with recaps of each and every bowl game this bowl season. So it's going to be a busy schedule, but be sure to subscribe so you do not miss out on the ride. But guys, like I said, take it easy. Have a great holiday season. If you have a Merry Christmas if you don't see me till then. But I guess that's it, guys. Have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas to you. Peace.